Good morning and welcome to my video on my April 2022 A to Z Junk Journal Challenge with Dearjuliejulie. We had to use the alphabet here in this journal, and we had to create our own embellishment that we wanted to use for the letter like A through Z. So I have a list here of the different ones I've made. On my cover here, my actual journal size is 5 5/8 by 8 1/2 by 1 3/4. Great. So in the front here, this is Y for yo-yo. This is X for cross stitch. This is a little cluster for covers. And on the spine, I've used the buttons in the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. The cover was made out of, our M was for masterboard, so I just created a collage with all my leftovers from the projects and cut them for these, for the covers. I also ended up with some extra tags too I'm going to use for another project from that masterboard. This was for hearts to sew, for H, and then on the inside cover is my Always Fancy Nancy card, which then I will put a little ditty to whoever's getting the journal. This is a pocket. P is for pockets. We had to use a Dearjuliejulie digital, and I did use her red roses and yellow birds. So this is part of that, a page from that. And then this was for quilt block, and then I used it as a little tuck spot here and for some journaling cards. Another part of the Dearjuliejulie, and P is for paint chips, and I created a page out of a paint chip. We had to use 5 pages of scrapbook paper, so I have that used throughout, and they're all kind of like a barnwood type decor page. K is for craft paper. I created pages out of craft paper. I had to chase the cat out of the room. She's chewing on cardboard. So, and then I did some sewing on there and added a word, and I also use book pages. I have one here. I think it's from a craft book. Then this is E for envelope waterfall. So then you create a waterfall like this, and you can journal on it, tuck in spots, because the sides are all open. So then they create a tuck as well. All the different, side pieces is the open envelope, like so. I'll leave that out in case I have any other demos to do. This was, P is for paper ruffle, and I used it as a horizontal belly band where I tucked my envelope waterfall in. And then I is for index card. The one tool I used that I haven't used for a while was Creative Memories cutting system, where you have that template. But I did use a punch on this one, but in my other octagon thing, I used that Memory Makers. So that's index card, and you can use it as journaling. And I created a pocket on the page. Another Dearjuliejulie digital from that kit. Z is for zipper, and I added a little bulb pin with button and sequins and beads on there. And then I scored a big pad of this yellow paper, so I started using that in this journal. This is L is for label clusters, so I created a little cluster on a label and just stuck it to the page. More scrapbook paper, craft book was from Scrap Fabric Crafts. Another part of that brown page. This is F for fabric flip, And I just added lace and my fabric I used throughout this journal, and a trim that I've got in a messy thread, and a button. This is the other half of that paint chip page. This is another part of the Dear Julie Julie kit. Open it up for journaling. And then the other side of that, I did for my tabs, T is for tabs. I used a smaller paint chip, folded it, added some different things to there, and those, I have 3 tabs in this journal. Another Dear Julie Julie from Red Roses and Yellow Birds. And I did make some paint chip tags as well. So P is for paint chip tags. And I made a tuck spot here on this paper, and I'll just tuck that in there. Another book page here. And then this was something extra I had. It was just part of the Dear Julie Julie kit with the small wallet-sized pieces, and I just clipped it up there. You can either open this out for a journal, or they can close it and make a pocket. And then the other part of the Dear Julie Julie digital. Then we had to use, J is for junk mail. So I took a piece of junk mail that I had. I don't know what it was for, like mufflers or something. So what I did is I just covered that with scrapbook paper, and then I have this, A is for Altered Paperclip. So I have that on there, and then used a playing card here, which is under my game piece. I used my playing card for game piece for G, another part of the book. Another paint chip tag. It could also be journaled on too. And then a paint chip pocket. N is for napkin. I Mod Podged this napkin onto some of that yellow paper and created a page out of that. Another Dear Julie Julie digital page here. Another tab. A lot of journaling. And then V is for vertical belly band. So I have this belly band I made out of scraps I had from the project. And then the 2 little Dear Julie Julie wallet size can just be some journaling underneath that tab. We had to use a book page. This is, it's from a recipe book, and I just created pockets by folding, and again, some of these Dear Julie Julie minis here, and tucked to the side as well. D is for double tuck, and I used an envelope here to create a double tuck. And I just used, I think these were Trivial Pursuit cards. I just covered with fabric and brown paper, and the little hearts I cut out of the paint chips. So then I have a journaling space here, you know, another paint chip, and like I said, the envelope. And on the other side of the envelope is covering where the names were on the envelope. Here is what the project, I used the Octagon Creative Memories cutting system. I just did, this is from a Walgreens photo envelope. Cut the octagon and cut paper just a tiny bit smaller. And it can be, you can take the brad out and journal on the pages, or just flip this around and journal on the pages. So that's that. And this is wrapping paper. So W is for wrapping paper, and then I proceeded to make pockets out of that wrapping paper and add a little ditty there. Again, this is the other part of that junk mail. Another Dear Julie Julie digital, a tab. Oh no. All right, this can be a flip out pocket. I will have to embellish something on that now. This is it was a top tuck, but I can't remember what I put it as. Upper tuck. So it's U for upper tuck. So you can tuck it here and open it up and journal on it as well, and it's decorated. Another part of that book page. And then I just made another, this was another heart, hearts of patchwork. H is for hearts of patchwork. And then I added a safety pin and some yarn and a button on that. That infamous yellow paper. And then again, a Dear Julie. And then this heart, yeah, I did that too for the journal. But that is my April 2022 A to Z Junk Journal Challenge journal. And I'm glad I got through this. I've had a cold all week. And it's been a pleasure showing it to you. And have a great day. Bye.